I've kept you for a while, but I do want to ask about your Raw appearance recently because that, for me, that really stood out because a little sneak behind, the camera. We talked briefly last year because I wanted to get this up and going. A lot of stuff got in the way. Never was able to quite get things going the way I wanted to. Fast forward almost a full year, and there you are on Raw. And at first, I didn't even it didn't even click because sometimes with enhancement guys, you just kind of zone out. You don't necessarily look that closely, especially when there's multiple people at once.
Yes.
It's kind of just a wave of people. And then I was
Yes.
like, wait a second, and then it clicked. I was like, whoa, how did that happen? And what was the experience like?
Yeah, so it's fun. I mean, I've been doing extra work for WWE since 2003,
Yeah,
off and on, but for whatever reason, I've never had a Raw match. And that's one of those, again, that's one of those bucket list things. Like, I grew up watching Monday Night Raw.
30 years in January.
Yeah, which is crazy to me because I remember being excited for the first one, like, uh, and just like, I mean, just full circle there, like when Tony Mamaluke and I won the Ring of Honor tag titles, it was at the Manhattan Center. And that's, like, dude, that's where the first Raw was. Like, oh my God, but anyways, so, but yeah, I've been doing extra stuff for WWE for forever. My whole adult life. And I've had matches. I've had darks. I did an ECW match, but for whatever reason, the Raw spot never happened. Uh, well, this last one, I stay pretty busy. Anything in the southeast, I try to make sure my emails are sent out in time and let them know, like, hey, I'd love to be a part of the show. And I've got so many friends that work for the company. It's it's just hilarious to me, and like it's one of those things that I don't really take into thought until we were at Raw this time, and the guy that I got pinned with is one of my best friends. And we were standing waiting for our physicals. And as we're standing there, every time someone would pass by, they would, kind of give the wave to the extras and then stop and go, Sal, and it's just, I've been around forever. So I know, and as we're doing that, Adam Pearce walks by, who was the agent on the match. And he goes, oh my God, Sal. He's like, yeah, what's up, Pierce? Who I've known from, I knew Pierce from my Ring of Honor days.
yeah.
And he was like, you're working tonight. And I go, I hope so. And he goes, no, I'm telling you right now. I got a spot. It's yours. I was like, oh my God. Like, turn it down. There's more extras behind me. I don't want that heat. But yes, a million times. And he was like, yeah, it's going to be 3 or 4 guys. We'll figure it out. But you're 100% one of the guys. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. But I've also been in that boat before where earlier this year, in April of this year, I was supposed to get squashed by Veer on Raw. And they swapped it out. Like, Raw goes on the air. When Raw starts on TV, when Raw starts on TV, I'm scheduled to be working Veer. And by the end of the first segment, they swap me out for somebody else.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so like now I know, like I don't ever tell anybody, like I have a match at segment 8, please watch.
Yeah.
But Pierce runs it by me, and I just happen to be first in line for the physical, and he's like, when you're done with the physical, go ahead and meet me down at ringside. So I go down by ringside, and him and Omos are talking, and they're talking about the finish, and I go, oh, I'll take that. And Pierce goes, that's a scary bump. Are you sure you want to do that? And he was like, make one of the kids take that. I go, no. Like, my son gets to see me on Raw. I'm going to take up as much TV time as I can. Even getting pinned, there's more FaceTime for me if I'm eating that finish because you're going to show a replay of the finish.
That's a smart way to look at it because I don't think a lot of people would necessarily look at it that way. If anything, a lot of people would probably be like, oh, I don't want to be pinned. What if it, but you're smart. You see that as more television exposure, more
Absolutely.
showing people who I am and what I can do, because it's like a commercial when you're on TV.
Absolutely. That's all it is me selling myself. And like, if I can do anything, I can fall down and make things look like they hurt. Because at my age, they usually do. Uh, but like, so, I'm like, please let me eat the finish. And he goes, okay, yeah, no, it's yours if you want it. He goes, but I take that bump at practice all the time. It sucks. I go, oh, I have no doubt about that. But we're gonna do this. And my buddy was the one that got pinned, with me.
Mm.
And so it was just super cool that like the two of us that, like we constantly are texting each other about stupid. Like today, he just texted me. He goes, "Hey, when are we going to add Manu to the bloodline?"
Fantastic.
And I was like, I hope never. I hated when he got added to Legacy. It's like,
oh, what a reference.
He's like, no, that's fair. Yeah, but I mean, that's our conversations constantly. But so like it was just such a super, super insane moment that we got to do that together. But like right before we go out, we're in Gorilla and Austin Theory's the segment before us, and I've known Theory forever, and Rollins, who I talk to Rollins all the time. They're both coming through Gorilla, and they're just like, "Oh my God, Sal! Like this is awesome. I'm so glad you get to do this." And there's Pearce, and I'm with MVP, who like we talked about earlier. I did Impact with 100 million years ago, and it's just
AJ and Truth were probably there, right?
Yeah. No, and Gallows is back. Yeah. I mean, just so many guys. Like I said, I mean, it's nuts the number of guys. Especially like Petey's an agent there. Abyss is an agent. Yeah, it's just wild. But right before we go out, like I told my buddy, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna kind of drag my feet a little bit because I know our entrance isn't on TV, and I'm gonna try to drink up as much of this as I can." And he goes, "Oh yeah, no, 100%, I'm with you." And so like, it was just one of those like, I genuinely hope everybody that ever has the urge to lace up a pair of boots and chases this dream gets that feeling at least once. I mean, it's crazy to think that like, because I've been on Raw before and backstage segments and security spots and all that stuff, but to finally get this match, like I'm 40 years old. I just turned 40 in September, and
happy birthday.
Thank you. And here I am on Raw, right? Like it's just, and it was worth every hurdle that I had to jump to get to that point, even if it was just 2 minutes. And I didn't get anything but a choke and a forearm. I did it, right? Like that's
absolutely.
And like I made sure, like there was very few people I texted, but I made sure I texted my son, said, "Hey, baby, make sure you're watching Raw tonight." Because again, I'm not going to tell him I've got a match just in case he gets scratched or something. Because I've had darks before where I've been at the curtain and they've said, scratch it. I'm like, no, don't scratch it. I'm ready to go. Like, change of plans. We're having this match. So like, I tried to eliminate all the variables, but I made sure he knew, like, please be watching around this time. And as cool as all of it was, and like, keep in mind, so we're out there during the commercial break and they're showing commercials to the live crowd, and one of the commercials is for the Undertaker's Netflix show. So like, I'm standing at ringside when the gong hits, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's super cool, right? Like, I know Undertaker's not coming out, but one of my dreams was always to be a druid. Like that was always the extra goal for me, was to be a druid. Now, like here I am at ringside, Undertaker's music's playing. Like this is super cool. But getting to come back and like just that feeling of knowing like everything I was supposed to do, I crushed. Omos was super happy. Pearce sent me a really heartfelt text afterwards, just like, very congratulatory. But just there was a bunch of guys that were genuinely happy for me, but there was nothing better than getting back to my phone and having that text from my son. Just it's nuts,
the dream,
man.
It's the dream.
I mean, it's just I've said it. I've probably said it 20 times a night. I will never stop saying it. I'm a lucky dude, man. I'm a very, very, very lucky. And just got to keep this ball rolling.
And those moments are going to live forever too. Like, it's on Peacock, it's on WWE Network, it's on in some markets, it's on Disney Plus, and then it's on YouTube. It's on all these places all over the world, and it's probably going to outlive future generations to come.
100%. It's wild. It's just crazy to think, like, as much of a tiny little footnote as it is, like, my name's now on that list of people that have performed on Raw. You think about all the hundreds of millions of people that put on wrestling boots and wanted to do this and be a part of this industry that never got that shot. And like now my name's forever on that list and it can't be undone.
Yeah. It's wonderful. So real quick, what was it like working with him? Because is he the largest individual you've ever wrestled?
He's the largest individual that's ever been alive. My favorite, yes, my favorite part is, so right before we go out, because we've got the spot where I jump on his back, and then the three of us that are still up start hitting him.
Mm-hmm.
And Pearce, who's our agent, goes, "Hey guys, I know you know this, but like make those shots count. Like he's a big guy. Don't throw weak shots, because then in turn everybody involved is going to look weak. Make these shots mean something." And right before I go out, Pearce tells me, he goes, "Hey, lay him in, because like I've got his back, so I know I'm just throwing forearms to his back. I know how to hit very solid in very safe places. A forearm to the back's not going to kill you. So I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. The lights are on, blah, 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 blah. We get to the spot. I kid you not. I bring my forearm back, and I have never in a million years ever swung my forearm. I mean, I'm Barry Bonds and Mark McGuire in one. Like, I'm swinging for all the fences, right? Like, this is more than a moonshot. This is a Saturn shot. I'm going like, I blast him with a forearm right to the back, and he goes, "Harder."
That's fantastic.
Harder? I can't. Like, dude, I just shot on you, and you don't even know it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Like, harder, literally impossible for me. Bro, you win. Like, we just take it home now.
Every ounce of energy you can muster.
Yes.
Nothing.
Everything I had, I hit this man with, and he was just like, "Dude, I'm going to need you to connect." I'm like, "What?" But yeah, it was very cool. I mean, he was so gracious, and the whole time he was, "I'm green, but once I get it, I got it." And I mean, he was awesome. He was. We did a spot where he gave me a gourd buster, and normally you hook the head for a suplex. My arm didn't reach around. It wasn't a lack of effort. It was just the fact that he is an elephant-sized man, and my arms only go so long.
And that's the kind of person that you're not going to just find. You're not going to be able to just pick out like, people can be critical, but you made it sound like he's humble and hard and wants to learn, which is awesome. But also, you can't teach size. You can't.
No. He passes the airport test. There's not a place in the world where he walks that people don't stop and look to see what he's doing.
I think he might like pass the spaceship test because he's that big. He probably see him from up there. Like,
no, they're scanning and they're just like, "Oh, that's a mountain." No, that's a man. That's big old dude. But I mean, he couldn't have been more humble. He couldn't have been nicer. I mean, he definitely went out of his way to thank us multiple times, and especially with Banks too. Just it was one of those things where I think I took the squisher and the buckle, and I'm selling down, and MVP's at ringside yelling, and I kind of just I'm laying there and I'm looking over, and I'm just like, this is storybook stuff.
20 years after working with them, in front of I don't know how many people, probably 100, 200 people,
Yeah. The thing is, like, walking down that ramp in Impact was a big deal.
Yeah.
For both of us at the time, because, he was also, he's trying to get looked at just like I was.
Absolutely.
And for it to, come full circle where we're sold out house in Charlotte, it was one of those, like I said, I'm so fortunate that I learned to stop and appreciate the moment, and I did. And I mean, it was just, like I said, no matter what happens from this moment forward, that can never be undone. It was super, super cool fairy tale storybook stuff. Minus, no, I was just saying, minus me being dropped from 7,000 feet in the air.
I mean, you even have the giant, so it is literal fairy tale.
Yes.